Good afternoon, good morning, and welcome back to Get Hired, Stay Hired. It's our first show of 2026. So thank you for joining us today. We are here to help executives and senior leaders who are currently looking for new roles or starting new roles get the edge, not just in their job search, but also make sure that their onboarding goes to plan as well, so that they shine brightly and achieve everything that they want to achieve in their new role. My name is Sarah Farmer. I'm an executive coach and I specialize in imposter syndrome, all things mindset, confidence, and emotional intelligence. And my job during this whole process is to talk to you about the skills, but also the confidence and the mindset that you need to have to be able to not just get the job of your dreams, but keep it as long as you want it as well. And I am joined by the amazing Vanessa Ashworth. Hello, Vanessa. Welcome back.
Well, welcome back and Happy New Year to
Happy
you
New Year.
To anyone watching. So who am I? I am Vanessa Ashworth. I am a marketing director, and I am here to help you market yourselves correctly, to make sure that you are visible to your next hiring manager and magnetic, so that they want to hire you. So I'm here to help you with your profile, with your LinkedIn strategy, and with your kind of general kind of marketing yourself, personal brand shudder. So that's what this is all about. We're here about mindset and marketing to help you get hired and stay hired, crucially. So do say hello in the comments. I'm assuming that we've gone live. We've had a bit of a break over Christmas, so it might have all gone wrong. But if do say hello. Tell us where you are. Tell us how job seeking is going for you. Have you started a new role? Are you looking? What are you looking for? Let's see if we can help you. Also, crucially, send us any questions you've got. If you have any questions about job seeking or onboarding, do put that in the comments and we will try and address them in this next kind of 40 minutes that we've got together.
Absolutely. And we also have some news.
We do.
We have some very, very good news. Would you like to share your very, very good news, Ms. Ashworth?
I would love to share my good news with you. So,
Go on.
It's been a few months, but I have just received and signed the contract to start a new role.
Congratulations.
No, thank you. And I feel like I should be opening champagne or something. I haven't done that yet. I need to get together with my friends to celebrate properly. It's all very new. So yes, I've been offered a brilliant new role with the company that I told you about before Christmas that I was really hopeful to join. This is not a job to get me through. This is the role that I want.
The job.
With
the
the
job.
company that I wanted. And I'm absolutely delighted. And of course, in a couple of weeks, I start on the 27th. So as long as kind of the DBS check comes back all right, it will. And the references and everything goes to plan, I'll be starting on the 27th.
Awesome.
And I'll tell you all then who it's with.
I'm so happy for you. And you have been, for anybody that's been watching this show, watching what you do, you have been the epitome of how to market yourself successfully. And we're going to have a look at that today in what have you done and what can people learn from that to help them if they are searching for a new role. But we're also going to, if there's time, have a look at what about the next step, the onboarding side of things. And I know you've got plenty of ideas on that. But, what are you going to do and what can I add to help you or others make sure that they onboard really successfully as well? So 2 really juicy bits of conversation there to be had. Melinda's joined us. She says Happy New Year, but she also says congratulations. Thank you, Melinda. You next, my love. You next. So Melinda, by the way, just in case you are watching this as a recruiter or someone looking for somebody like Melinda, have a look at her profile. She's amazing. Just starting her quest for a new role. Maybe jot in there, Melinda, what it is you do. I know you've done some recent stuff around AI, which is brilliant. But let us know a little bit more. And if you're out there, just let us know where you are in the world, what job you're looking for, because you never know who's watching this. This is part of marketing yourself. This is visibility in the right way. Anyway, so Just to be clear, what we don't do is we don't look at CVs, we don't talk about job boards, although you have some pretty good information about, some high-level information about CVs. But we're not CV experts, we are not recruiters. We look at all the things that help you get a job outside of that. All that does is get you into an interview. It's what you do in there and what you do afterwards that we focus on. So, would it be worth having a little look through what you think was most helpful for you in securing the job that you wanted on your terms?
Yeah. Let's do that. Am I echoing? But I think the key thing is, like you say, we aren't CV experts, but the CV, when you're applying for roles, and if the job isn't coming for you, but you're applying for roles, the CV is the crucial piece of information, the crucial asset in getting you that initial conversation.
Yeah.
And I think the preparation of the CV before that gets you kind of in the mindset, okay, this is my value proposition. This is the role I want. These are the results I've delivered. This is the evidence that I've got. And doing that preparation to understand and to put your CV together gives you then your content strategy for LinkedIn and who you should be talking to, where you should be commenting and all the rest of it. So I think getting the CV right into a document that you absolutely believe in and that you can talk about confidently helps them with the mindset of getting a job.
Can I ask you just to, because I know what you mean by value proposition. People who've watched the show before will probably know what you mean, but there might be some people watching this for the first time or new to it and have no idea what you mean by your value proposition. Can you describe what that is, and maybe, I don't know if you want to share yours or help people understand how they create theirs?
Well, yeah, so a value proposition is the value that you bring. What makes you different? What makes you stand out? So it's essentially how you help the company, the hiring manager. So what is it that they're looking for? What is it that you do that answers that? But crucially then, what differentiates you? So I'm not just a marketing director. Yes, I can do branding. Yes, I can do international growth. Yes, I can do exhibitions. It's what I do and how I do it differently to anyone else that then just differentiates you and makes you either more or less attractive. With a good value proposition, you should attract the right people and repel the wrong people because they know that you're not a good fit.
Yeah.
And
just to come in on that, and this is what I think will scare people and often stops people in their tracks from creating the value proposition, is the fear of repelling those people that they don't want. But this is where the confidence to know exactly what you do want and to go for it, because if you end up in a job that you don't really want or with the wrong people, it's not going to work, and you're going to end up looking for a different role again. So if you're listening to this and you're listening to Vanessa going, yeah, but what if I miss an opportunity? You won't, if you know. We'll come on to this as well, because you were very clear about what you wanted. If you know what you want and you're confident in going for it, and your value proposition speaks to that, you'll get what you want faster than scattergunning around loads of things that you don't want. Sorry to interrupt, but
that's absolutely fine. So I think you need to know your value proposition. And so in the preparation, I thought I had a great CV. I thought it was really good. And then, I spoke about this last year, but there's a gentleman on LinkedIn who's a career coach. His name is Anil Birdie. Look him up. I think it's Aneal and then Birdie, Birdi. I think that's right. I think that's how you pronounce it. And he offered a free webinar, which I went along to. And then from that, he offered a free 15-minute CV review. And those 15 minutes were absolute gold, because rather than think about, of course, I was thinking about, for that kind of the bit above at the top of the CV, your statement about who you are and how you do things, the background to the value proposition, if you like. So I know that brand transformation is important, team leadership is important, international marketing is important. These are some of the things that I can do and that I offer that the hiring manager might be looking for. And at first I had sentences about those, about how I do them and what I bring. He asked me instead of talking about how I do that, tell instead the career highlights, the results I've delivered doing that. So not about how I do it, but the results that I have delivered, proven by how I've done it. So not hard, really. So anyone looking at the CV, the first top half of that CV, they would get exactly what kind of marketer I am and the results that I've delivered in the past.
Yeah. And that's so important, isn't it? Because when we're starting a new relationship, we need to know each other, like each other, and trust each other. And one of the biggest and the quickest ways to build trust is to scream out, this is what I've done before. And if it matches what I'm after and it excites me, we're already interested in each other.
Yeah.
So absolute gold. Yeah, absolute gold. Because I've seen CVs, and again, not a CV expert, but they are reams and reams and reams. If you can get it down to one side or one and a bit, and you can just tweak it. But people will, in interviews, will find out the how. That's what they're for.
Yeah.
They're not interested in reading a lot of information. They want to know, can you do it and have you got proof?
Yeah. And, you know, you just touched on how long a CV should be there. And there are no rules on that. And if, like me, you've had a 20-year plus career, you can't fit that onto one page. And you don't need to. You don't, well, maybe you can, but you don't need to. I think as long as that first half of that first page nails who you are and what you offer, then you're in with a chance. But
like an executive summary.
Yeah, but my CV is 3 pages long. It's kind of 2 pages, and then there's an extra page which has kind of the volunteering information on, and then some references.
Right.
But the key bit is on that first page.
Okay. We'll come back to you in a second, but let's just say see what Melinda says. So Melinda's area of speciality is providing strategic direction to the business systems in a company, AI and beyond. I also grow effective and empowered professional services team. She sounds great. Snap her up fast. That's what I'd say. And then we have Nick Pleven. Thanks for joining us, Nick. So don't you think that one of the main problems with recruitment right now is the indiscriminate use of AI by recruiters? Sure, a well-written CV is important, but if it doesn't meet 100% of what the recruiter is looking for, you can forget it. That's not entirely true, actually, as far as I know. Personally, I would completely scrap the use of CVs at first filter and replace it with a simple minimum requirements questionnaire. I think you make a really good point. So we had Tom Wood on a show a few weeks before Christmas. It's probably worth looking back at that one. And what he was saying was that it's actually really helpful for recruiters using AI, because what they're doing is they're able to actually scan things very quickly, but they're not looking for 100% of everything. Maybe some are, but most of them aren't. They're not necessarily trying to filter out unicorns from the pack. They're trying to get the right people for the right job. But what was really good about using AI was you got immediate response, which so many people are ghosted at the moment, aren't they? Because the recruiters just don't have the time, the capacity, the desire, whatever it is, to actually respond to all of the CVs that come in. But AI does. So there are some benefits, and it might be worth you looking back at the session we recorded with Tom Wood. But I think you make a really good point. The CV is onerous, but
I'm going to kind of argue that a little bit. So, but as Sarah said, and Tom was offering a product, but other recruiters say that they review CVs personally, and the use of AI is not as much as people fear. So, yeah.
Is that at executive level, senior leadership level, more than, or is that just across the board?
I would say that, well, from talking to people like Greg Wyatt, who are kind of, the recruiters for kind of more executive positions, but I think he does more things as well. He's done polls and asked other.
Yes.
Yes and no. It depends. At an executive level, you're looking for proof of delivery, because that's a huge investment the company's making, and they do want proof that you've delivered it.
But the differentiators are the soft skills, and this is the thing: is if you want a decent senior leader or executive to come into your organization and make it better, they need to have the emotional intelligence, the right level of confidence, and the leadership skills proven to be able to. Now, you can talk that through. It's quite. I wonder how easy it is, and I haven't really thought this through. Is how do you capture that in your executive summary, that I'm really emotionally intelligent, blah, blah, blah. But actually it comes through in your results with people.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the language you use. But listen, Nick, I'm with you. If it could all be about soft skills, I'd be happy. As long as we can assume that you've got the hard skills as well, the actual technical skills for that job.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing you say, Nick, and just having been looking for a role for the past 6 months or so, is you would completely scrap the use of CVs and replace it with a simple minimum requirements questionnaire. I suppose it depends how minimum that requirements questionnaire is, because it takes time to apply for a role. And if we're asking for more than a CV, then, well, it takes time. So it depends how quickly it can be done.
I think one thing we can absolutely say is that it's not a perfect system.
Oh no,
in any shape or form, and it's evolving with AI. I was quite scared about that, but having spoken to Tom and heard his view on it, it allayed my fears somewhat. But yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. So Melinda says, I wonder if the use of AI in recruiting is more refined when it's actual professional recruiters. When you have a company who thinks they can use basic AI to replace recruiters, okay, this is where things will be poorly managed. Yeah, you need to have an expert in charge, because the input into AI has to be good. And if you're not a recruiter in the first place and you're trying to cut corners, it's a really, really good point. So maybe it differentiates out between proper recruiters and internals.
And we know the bias in AI, don't we? We know there's the sexism in there and things like that. So, I mean, I worry about the use of AI by recruiters if they aren't using it cleverly and properly.
Yeah, and I guess that will improve over time too. But people are looking at making some quick wins, saving money on certain jobs. LinkedIn user, hello, haven't got your name, but thank you for getting involved. If you're invited for an interview, they already know you can do the job. Yes, it's all about soft skills and you being the right fit. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they also want about 10 people to interview you to prove what you said on the CV was right. Just saying, I don't know why that has to happen, because no one trusts each other.
Not always.
I'm being very scathing, aren't I? But also, talking about it from a employee's point of view, is quite a few people lie on CVs still and make things up or extrapolate information and kind of extend the truth a little bit. And what we say on a CV can be really disappointing when it gets into real life. Not with you, Vanessa, I'm not saying that. But I've had a couple of people recently that I've been working with who are really disappointed by the difference in what was on the CV and what's actually showing up. But actually what they're disappointed in is the soft skills, which are really the hard skills, the emotional intelligence, the initiative, all of that stuff. But why that's disappeared might be to do with the environment. That's a whole different show, but worth considering. So, Nick, again, use the CV after deciding on the long list. Yes, I'm going to agree. I think what you're saying is that you have a long list of possibles. So do the high level filter and then look at the CV. So you're not looking at hundreds and hundreds. Probably the best way around to do it. Yeah. So yeah, some really interesting thoughts, comments coming through. Thank you. So back to you. Back to you again. Talk to me about the importance of mindset throughout this time, because you had some really important time in the summer where you were not concentrating necessarily on a job search. You were doing things that really filled you up. You were concentrating on your giving back to the community, and then you started looking probably in earnest in September, was it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, about September. So not a huge amount of time, but it's still, anything over a few weeks can feel like a long time. How do you feel that your mindset helped you or hindered you during that time?
Okay, so yeah, it was so in the summer I enjoyed the time with Alistair, my son, and we were out in the camper van and visiting friends, and we had and the weather was glorious, and he's 14 now, he was 13 then. And I just thought, this is time I'll never get back. He'll be far too cool next year to want to spend all this time with me.
True. So
I just thought I'm going to make the most of it. And I decorated our bedrooms and things like that. So we had a wonderful summer. September, he went back to school, and I thought, right, let's get into find a job mode and let's look for this opportunity. At the same time, as I was spending I was full time working on getting the job, but I was getting ready for the Light Festival as well. So
yes,
I was designing and building a Light Festival in the evenings and weekends. So I had an escape there. I had something else to do, which is all about giving back and everything, but it's more about the joy of creativity. So that kind of keeps you sane and keeps you grounded, because I've got a festival to deliver.
You've got what you're talking about is that it doesn't have to be a Light Festival or giving back, but you have a passion. You did something that wasn't consistently job seeking, because it can be, if that's all you do day in, day out, it can be so, it's just so stressful and too much. So you had an outlet, is what you're saying, isn't it?
Something else that was very important, with a deadline to think about, which helps you then not put job seeking in second position, but to just give you somewhere else to focus. Once that had been delivered, it was then, okay, right, I really need to find something. But that's, I guess, when the market started to pick up, for me, and I started to be seen better. I suppose it takes time, doesn't it? It's like branding and marketing. It takes time for that stone to kind of gather a little bit of moss. Or not gather, whatever. You know what I mean?
Gather the good stuff.
To start working.
To roll in the right direction. But you strike me, you always had, and it wasn't just for show on this show, you always had a real good positive attitude, which was, I am going to get the right job for me. I know I am, and I'm going to get this type of job. You were very clear on the type of job that you wanted. You understood your value. You might have had a couple of wobbles occasionally, like all human beings do, I don't know. But you generally showed up positively with the intent that I am going to find this, and they are going to find me, and it's going to be great. And it happened. So I'm not saying you woohooed your way into it, but
it is interesting, because a friend of mine came out of a role, I think in September, and went into blind panic. And every day then she was calling me just to get it out of her system. And I think I was her kind of sounding board and pep talk cheerleader. But I think I am naturally optimistic. I think I do think everything will work out for me. Everything will be all right. Whether that's blind stupidity or what, I don't know, but it works.
The thing is, what you have a choice, whether it's blind stupidity or not. We know for a fact that people who choose to think more positively have more positive outcomes, because your brain it listens to what you're telling it. So if you tell it it's going to be shit, we're not going to get a job, it's going to take 3 years, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to pay for the bills or anything like that. Guess what you're going to be doing every day? Showing up with that fear, that worry, and it impacts and affects all of the good stuff that you could be doing, because how we think and how we feel lead to what we do, how we behave. So if what we're thinking and feeling isn't positive, even if you're faking it, your brain doesn't know you're faking it, just keep telling it. You then do better. And I know that's not always easy, and I know some people are in real dire straits. I've got a very good friend of mine who is in that situation, and yet he still manages to make me smile and make himself smile. Somehow he believes it's going to be okay, but it's rock bottom. It can be scary. It's a choice.
But I think also knowing what you want, knowing where your strengths are, knowing what you bring and where you best fit. Just it gives you that clarity and focus of where you're going. I mean, I always talk about this, whether in role or not. The North Star is really important. It's having that one idea of that direction. This is where we're going, and maybe we'll swerve a bit to get there, but we're going this way. And we're going to end up there. And I think that just makes life a lot easier.
It really does. And I've done a little bit of work with a couple of senior job seekers over just before Christmas, actually. And part of the work was around mindset, because that's really important. But the other part was absolute clarity on what I want, what I deserve, how much I want to be paid, how I'm willing to work, getting that done so that you use that as your filter. So if anything else comes in that might look interesting, you put it through that filter first. And if anybody's interested in talk about that, I talk about the hedgehog concept, which is in a book Good to Great by Jim Collins. He talks about it from a work point of view, but I use this in my one-to-one coaching and development as well. It's getting clarity on what you love, what you're best at, and what's going to drive your economic engine. How much can you earn? How much do you want to earn? How much should you be earning? Yeah. And then everything else falls away. So if you put it through that filter and it doesn't fit, at least to a high percentage, like 80, 85%, it's not worth pursuing.
Yeah.
And I think
that's another thing, I think, sorry to interrupt, but I think your confidence can get hit if you're getting a lot of rejections. I didn't apply for a lot of roles. I was really picky about what I applied for. I didn't apply where I thought I've got no chance.
Yeah.
I only really applied for roles that I really wanted with the kind of companies that I really wanted. I mean, I might have kind of thrown a few out there, kind of companies I'd never heard of, and you know, just because I did need a job. But it was still knowing kind of what I do and how I do it, and where I fit well. I didn't apply for things where I knew I had no chance.
And so what you did was what a lot of people aren't doing, is you reduced your amount of negative traffic coming into you on purpose. So not only do you, by being clear about what it is you want, who you want to work with, how you want to, what job you want to do, etc., you are also reducing the negative barrage coming back in. Now, I've seen this happen to a lot of people, is they have done the scattergun, and the amount of no's, and then we get, I applied for a junior level something or other, and I didn't even get that. That's how crap I am. This is the negative feedback loop that we can get. So it isn't just good for you in making decisions. It's really good for your mental health as well, because you don't get rejected from things that you were never going to get in the first place, because you're too experienced, you frighten them, or it's completely the wrong thing for you.
Yeah. And I know people who did the same thing. They applied for kind of, supermarket delivery type roles, which they're obviously far, these are executive job seekers. But of course they got rejected because they'd be there for a couple of months until something better came along. Yes. So, why would somebody invest in training and getting somebody up to speed to do that when they're going to leave? It's not that they weren't good enough. It's just that the company knew that they weren't going to stick around.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to pop back to Nick's comment, who unfortunately the whole CV issue has now been disrupted by AI. Sorry to go on about this, but I feel very strongly about it. No, you go on. It's absolutely fine. This is a good place to vent. And so many applicants are now using AI to create or customize their CVs. Yes, they are. Absolutely. And recruiters then using AI to do the first sift. Yes, they are, which is why it's really important that we use AI to do our CVs so it matches. So it's a very difficult situation in which to make sensible decisions. Well, it doesn't. And hence my suggestion to use a minimum requirements questionnaire. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I do not disagree. I don't think there is a 100% right or wrong way. But the point is, we have to go with what the world is doing right now. I'm terrified. I'm going off on one here, but I saw a post on LinkedIn at the weekend with a robot. They're not called robots. They're called botics or something. I don't know. Melinda will tell us. But walking into an office going, we are really close to this. And I had the heebie-jeebie. I mean, it's like looking at those films we watched when we were kids, where we thought, this will never happen. A car will never fly. A robot will never run anything. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is happening, and it terrifies me. Anyway, we can't change it. The world is moving forward at a fast rate of knots. But I know plenty of people who are using AI to create the most amazing CVs, and they do them over and over again. They reiterate things. They address things. They change things. But this is the way we're going.
Yeah,
we can't. I'm going back to the sphere of influence. What can you control? What's in your influence? What is out of your control? What's out of our control is that this is here. They're using it. What is in our control and our influence is understanding how to play the game and use it as effectively as possible. But I do hear you, and you are free to go on and on and on. We're here for you. Promise. Right, where were we? We're talking about mindset. Yeah, and you had this positive, and also not scattergunning as well. So you have this real clarity, but also showing up in your LinkedIn. A lot of people are still resisting showing up. Now, I'm not saying, actually, this is interesting. How did you get your job? Was it through a job board? Was it through LinkedIn? What was it? Because people often say, well, no jobs are actually coming through LinkedIn anyway. It's ridiculous. They're not real jobs.
LinkedIn. It was a LinkedIn job board. It was a job that I actually applied for, so I wasn't connected to anyone. It wasn't that somebody saw my content on LinkedIn and approached me. It was the good old fashioned send off the CV and a cover letter. So that's how I got the role. But kind of saying that, so first of all, I think what we should take from that is, yes, some of the jobs on LinkedIn are actually real, and they are real opportunities that you can win with. There are lots of fake jobs out there. These AI created jobs that people, it is a nightmare. Apparently, something like, is it 2/3 of jobs on LinkedIn aren't right for some reason, aren't real. Yeah, it's something ridiculous like that. And then there's so many that are really, really old. There's so many jobs on the boards that are being reposted, but it's been there for 6 months, and so you have to wonder, is that real at all? And I guess not. But yeah, no, and you said that you earlier as well about meeting everyone in the company before they realize, until they think that you're okay. My experience was entirely refreshing with the company I'm going to. It was just a few kind of 4 meetings in total. So yeah, you don't. Yeah, there are good companies still out there.
Well, I'm going to say, if you manage to get a senior level position on 4 interviews, that's already a tick for me. That is a sign of a company that trusts each other, trusts people to make decisions. They don't drag, and they knew what they wanted. So actually, if you're listening to this as a recruiter within a company, or you're about to recruit for some, please know what you want, know what you're looking for from a job point of view, and make sure there's only a few of you that need to make a decision. And if there's 10 of you that need to make a decision, what is wrong with you? Is what I will say. What is wrong with you? Just bloody trust each other to make a decision. If you don't, sort that out first before you start interviewing and bring someone into your shit, because it is shit. I've sworn a bit. Sorry, right. But I feel quite strongly. You can't tell, but that's good news about the getting a job through LinkedIn. Good. Melinda, I feel that the best way to use AI is as a validation point. For example, to an AI tool, you are recruiter for company or industry, review my CV and tell me which top skills you see.
Yeah.
Melinda really knows about this stuff, by the way. So it might be worth Melinda and Nick having a chat. This approach both can give insights into how your CV will be seen by a third party. Ooh.
I used AI extensively, not for the creation of my CV necessarily, but then through the whole interview process, it was where I was storing all my notes from interview.
Yeah.
And I was saying, I've got an interview with this person next, and it's, it would then come back and say, okay, well, these are the things that this person's likely going to be interested in and want to talk about.
Really helpful.
And it kind of helps you then looking at it. I mean, I use a professional version of ChatGPT, so it knows me very well now. It knows my CV. It knows probably how I think. But it can then say, oh, you can talk about this, and it will.
It can pull the strands together, can't it? Just make me start to wonder: are we ever going to think for ourselves ever again? And also, if we don't, everything's just going to get faster and faster and faster until we blow.
Yeah.
I am scared, but anyway.
Yeah. This is the whole thing that the fear is that Nick's talking about is that recruiters are creating jobs using AI. Candidates are using AI to scan the job market to find them, sometimes even then to apply for the roles without the person ever validating whether it's right or not. So there's hundreds of CVs being sent for roles from some AI engines that are just kind of...
Is that Jack and Jill?
No, Jack and Jill's different. It doesn't automatically apply for jobs for you.
It just tells you what's out there.
It looks, it scans the market to see what might be a good fit to give them ideas. Now, whether it can do it or not, I don't know. But there are other engines where you just feed in your CV and it will just then automatically apply for loads of jobs. So this is what recruiters are dealing with if their jobs are real. and why they're then having to use AI, I guess, to scan through 200 plus 3,000 whatever CVs to then pull out those people who are actually really valid. And you know, and this is this, and but yeah, that's it. The CVs are written by the job is written by AI. The CV has been matched to that job description written by AI. The cover letter is written by AI. Everything looks the same.
It does look the same. It's getting very formulaic, but what isn't the same is your actual truth about your results and who you are and how you've done it.
Yeah.
You know, that the content is different, but the format looks the same.
I would encourage the use of AI, as Melinda says, to help you, you know, pull out those important bits, make sure that the important bits to the hiring manager are accentuated or whatever. But be human and, you know, make sure that your CV is from you and sounds like you, because the other thing is, as I said, any human who's looking through a CV that's been created by AI can see straight away it's been created by AI. It's so blindingly obvious to us now, isn't it?
Well, it's hugely obvious, and if people aren't bright enough to customize it to their way of speaking, and they're not removing the big dashes, and they're not doing 2 words full stop, 2 words full stop. I mean, the LinkedIn posts are coming out are so freaking obvious. It's
so obvious,
boring. But anyway, I digress. But we've got a few minutes left, and talking about LinkedIn. One of the many things I think you do brilliantly is about visibility. So you cannot fake being live on here. I mean, we could be AI bots, but if we were, I would have less lines.
Oh God, yeah, I'd have so many less lines.
But we've only got a few minutes left, but I just want to touch on the importance of being visible. And LinkedIn isn't the only way to get a job, but it is a really important way for people to suss out who you are, what you're like, if we like you, if we can trust you. And if you're never talking about anything you're interested in or what you're great at, or you're not showing it, you don't have to be on videos, but they really help. You're missing a trick. You have done that so incredibly well. And I would really urge anybody who is looking for a new role in a senior position to go and look at your profile, what you've been delivering over the last few months, because it's exceptional. How much of that do you think helped you in securing your new job?
The same, as I said, so I don't know if the hiring managers or the people involved in hiring this role looked at my CV, looked at my LinkedIn profile and looked at the content. I don't know.
It would be interesting to find out.
I do have a premium account, but I didn't see anybody looking at it because it normally tells you.
Yeah.
But I didn't see. But so that'd be interesting as well. You said, but I think creating that content gives you then the confidence and the knowledge to talk about yourself and what you do and the results that you've delivered, because you're practicing all the time and trying and playing with it in a different way.
I love it. Yeah.
Then it is completely ingrained, and when you're asked about it then in interview to talk about it, it comes naturally because, oh, that's that post that I put on LinkedIn, that's that carousel, and these are the key points. So
so it's a way of practicing. It's a way of practicing what you're going to be talking about in an interview, but you're sharing your value in what you do and how you do it, but you're preparing yourself, you're practicing without having to sit in front of a mirror and go, my name is Vanessa and this is how I'd answer this question. Absolutely brilliant.
But also, I think, as you said, it's the people worry about posting on LinkedIn because they think it'll be tumbleweed and no one will look at it or read it or interact with it. And that doesn't matter, because if you do post and then you feature those great posts, if the hiring manager does come to your profile to check you out, and they usually do, the recruiters do usually anyway, the talent guys at the start, just to verify everything works, they will see those featured posts and your recent posts, and they will get that idea about who you are, which is much deeper than what you give in a CV to a certain extent. You know, that's the soft skills and personal attributes kind of thing. So
you would recommend it for, and it's not just, and I love this, the things that we do never just tick that one box. There's so many ways that it adds value, and you know, posting on LinkedIn is great. And networking, once you've got a job, remaining on there, sharing your value is also really important. There's some people that do that in very high level jobs that are absolutely great at it. And guess what happens when someone's looking for their next director of or head of? They've already been conversing with this person because they're showing up on LinkedIn all the time.
My last 2 or 3 roles have come from LinkedIn in different ways by being referred. So it wasn't the hiring manager that I was connected to, but it was somebody who I was connected to who was, connected with the hiring manager. And so my last few roles have been via LinkedIn, but actually the posting, the connecting, the networking.
Yeah, we shall say no more. Our message is clear. If you want to be visible, that's one of the really good ways to do it. So we're going to end with Nick today because our time is up. The way we've been helping companies recruit for the last 10 plus years is 1, minimum requirements, 2, customized personality assessments, and 3, cultural fit assessments, 4, CV reviews, 5, interviews. Yes. Yeah, you're right. And I have a real issue with how the personality assessments are used as well. But we won't go in because not everybody's actually trained to understand them, and they can make big assumptions on that. For example, if you're going for a director's role and you don't end up as a strong red driver personality or whatever profile you're using, people who don't understand might go, oh no, well, you're not a classic director. Absolute rubbish. So Nick, I just want to thank you for getting involved today. And Melissa, she wasn't there, but Melinda was. And if you are watching this on replay, then do drop a note in the comments. Let us know what you liked, what you found helpful. If you've got any questions for next week, we will be back next week. It may very well be our last show because Vanessa is starting her new role and my work has gone crazy, which is wonderful. But we're just going to have a think about that. So do join us next week where we will have a chat about what happens next. So we'll start looking at, when you go into a new role, what do you need to do? How do you need to show up? What are the things you could be doing? And how your mindset and how your visibility matters there too.
Stay hired.
Stay hired. Get hired and stay hired. That's the stay hired bit. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Welcome back to the year and good luck if you're job seeking out there. And we will catch up with you next week, same time.
Cheerio.
Bye-bye.